Reducing balance depreciation is the opposite, if you like, to compound interest. Do you remember the rule for compound interest? A is equal to P outside of 1 plus, now we said R over N over 100 N to the power of T. And N was the number of times something was compounded. For reducing balance questions, we're only ever going to be dealing with N equal to 1. So we're going to be doing it annually. So therefore, our rule is P outside of 1 minus. Now have a look at the difference there. For depreciation, it is minus. When it was compound interest, it was plus. So 1 minus, and we would say R over N over 100 to the power of NT, but because N is equal to 1, we don't have to worry about that N value. Have a look at what all our letters stand for. V, book value, we've come across that in flat rate, so that's no different, and it's in dollars. P is purchase price, again in dollars. R is the rate, the reducing balance rate. And notice here that it is compounded annually. So we're only going to deal with compounded annually, like what we said before. And last thing there is T, which is number of years. These are also important. The first one tells us that the depreciation is equal to the purchase price minus the book value. And then all of the others are just that same formula rearranged. All right, let's have a look at this first example here. So a tractor purchased for $30,000 depreciates using the reducing balance method. So we're told that the tractor depreciates at 15% per annum, and we're looking for the book value after 4 years. So let's write out everything that we know so far. So we can see there that the purchase price of the tractor, P, is $30,000. We know that the rate is 15% per annum. That's how much it's depreciating every year. And they want to know what it is after 4 years. What do they want to know? They want to know the book value, which is V. So we know that V is equal to P outside of 1 minus R on 100 to the power of T. In this case, it is 30,000 outside of 1 minus 15 on 100 to the power of 4. Now, I would again be using solve on my calculator. Okay, so solve looks like this on the calculator. And so when you put that in, you get that equal to $15,660 if we go to the nearest dollar. So that is the book value after 4 years. So something that started at $30,000 has now ended up at $15,660. So it's obviously depreciated a lot, which brings us to the next question. How much has it depreciated in the 4 years? So the depreciation here is equal to the purchase price, which was $30,000, take the book value after 4 years, which was $15,660, and you end up with $14,340. So that's how much that tractor has depreciated in 4 years. Its new value is $15,660. So in part C, we're using answers from part A and part B. We still have a $30,000 tractor, which is depreciating by 15% annually. Okay, and what they want now is a table with time and book value for the first 10 years of its life. So this is best done on the calculator, and I'm going to show you how to do that in class. But if you have a look now on the table, I've shown you what you should be putting into your calculator. That grey section in our lists and spreadsheets is where we put the rule in. And when we put those rules in, this is what we will end up with. We can see here that as the book value decreases over the 10 years, it makes sense, therefore, that the depreciation is actually increasing to the point where the tractor depreciates over $24,000 and it's only worth close to $6,000 at the end of 10 years. Now, the second part here is to draw a graph of book value versus time. So time will always be on your horizontal axis, book value is on your vertical axis. And what we should notice is that because the depreciation is not constant here, therefore that we're not going to end up with a straight line. Now, although this graph isn't plotted exactly with all of the 10 coordinates, it gives you a fair idea of what the curve looks like when you plot a reducing balance depreciation. And yes, it is a curve. It is not a straight line like what we get when we have flat line depreciation. Again, we can get this graph very easily on our calculator, because once we've got our lists and spreadsheets, we can go into data and statistics and set up our graph. So I will show you that in class as well.